I'll drift between the two. Actually, if you're close,
Hi guys, Nick Jennison, Guitar Interactive Magazine, GI+. I am leaning forward because Logic Pro is down here and the cursor does not know where Logic Pro stops and I start. And you're currently staring at my midsection because I'm going to ask James, very kindly, to switch to the main cam. Hey, how you doing? We're down at the studio in case you couldn't tell because we have the big Marshalls in the background and it wouldn't be a trip down at the studio if something didn't go wrong in the first 5 minutes. But that's okay. James is a hardworking and very busy boy and he's currently monitoring the audio for your goodness. Now anyway, listen, I want to take this opportunity to thank you very much for coming. It's Monday evening. We're doing the thing we do on Monday evenings, which is talk about the guitar. If that's not a catchphrase by this point, I don't think it's ever going to be. But hey, even still, thanks for joining us. We got all sorts of good stuff for you today. If you're a new viewer or you're catching this on the replay, hey, thanks for coming. It's great to have you. We're going to be talking about arpeggios today. This is a continuation of a long run of streams we have on arpeggios. Who knew that arpeggios could be such a deep and involved subject? Well, I knew, and I have a feeling that you knew as well. But even still, and of course, if you're one of our returning streamers who has been with us for any length of time, maybe been with us right since the beginning when we started doing these, I don't know how long ago, or you've been with us for a few weeks, either way, it's great to have you back. Thanks for coming. It would be very lonely without you. I'd just be screaming into the void, or in this case, just chatting away to James, and also Kim, because Kim is in the studio. Kim is currently waving hello to everybody, so it's not very sunny in here. So international man of mystery, but yet here he is, sat with us with a guitar in hand. So anyway, listen, let's check in with the stream. Let's see how everyone's doing. But before we do, a little bit of housekeeping. I just want to remind you, if you're enjoying what we're doing with these streams, if you're getting use out of it, here's how you can help us keep doing these streams. Because your GI Plus subscriptions, see this URL down here, guitarinteractivemagazine.com/GI plus, that's the word plus, P-L-U-S. Your subscriptions are what enable us to do these streams. So if you want to support what we're doing here, the best way you can do so is by going to this URL, signing up, and here's what we'll do for you in return. You get an absolute wealth of guitar lessons. You've no idea. There are so many lessons in there. We have lessons from myself, from, let me think now, where to begin. Rick Graham, Tom Quayle, Andy Wood, Andy James, Giorgio Cerci, Lewis Turner, Michael Caswell, Manelli Jamal, Michelangelo Batio. I laugh when I say Batio because it's so absurd. Michelangelo Batio, the king of shred guitar, he's done lessons for us too. So many lessons in there on everything from jazz to fusion to metal to arpeggios, funnily enough, expressiveness, technique, you name it, we got lessons on it. So go to that URL, that helps us keep these streams running for you guys, and I love doing these streams. I want to keep doing them for you, so that's how you go and make that happen. In the meantime, other things you can do to help us out, you can give us a thumbs up on whatever platform you're watching on. You can share this with your guitar playing friends. We'd like to get this out to as many guitar players as we possibly can, and of course, you can give us a comment. We love your comments. Drop your comments down below, and if you have questions, you can ask your questions, and we'll be answering your questions at the 45-minute mark, as we always do. So, of course, if you've got any burning questions, maybe we'll answer them as we go. But for the time being, let's just check in with the stream and see how everyone's doing. So, Response Audio is in the house first through the door. Good to see you. Marcin is here. Marcin has... oh, this is interesting. Preparing to play a festival in September. That is very cool, right? So our friend Marcin has joined a band and is now moving on to festival shows. That is absolutely amazing, man. I'm looking forward to seeing some footage. If you guys aren't following Marcin on Instagram, by the way, go and follow him. He's posting some fantastic footage of him playing. Great guitar player, really playing some nice stuff. Who else do we have in the house? PJ is here. PJ, it's good to see you. I'm looking forward to this one too, man. This is a little realization that took me a while to get to. I'm going to share it with you guys today, and I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully, you guys who've been a little bit ill, there's some discussion of illness in the comments. Hopefully, you guys are feeling better too. I agree. Marcin says, thanks, it's getting better now. Whitesnake backing track got me feeling better while jamming over the weekend. I love that track. That's one of my absolute favorites. Although I do like the Zeppelin track that we were playing over at the start. I shouldn't say that. It's not technically a Zeppelin track, but we all know what it means. Yeah, it is, but it's not really. PJ says, my jamming always sounds the same regardless of what I play over. Burt Whedon on steroids with a hint of David Gilmour. I think I'm stuck in the comfort zone. Nick, help. Well, PJ, hopefully we're going to give you some tools for how you can fix that today, but I'm also going to start that because we're going to come back to that a little bit later on because that's something we've all been through. David Yates is in the house. Got new strap day. Got an Ernie Ball wide neoprene polylock strap. It's really nice. Also, no need to change strap buttons. Oh, very nice. Good for my back, practice standing up more. For sure, right? Now, you guys will have seen me, certainly when I'm at home, I always have a strap when I'm sitting down and playing the guitar. Now, touch wood. Why am I touching my head? I have a wooden instrument in my hands. Touch wood. There we go. Doesn't make it any less valid. I think it makes it more valid, if nothing else. Touch wood, my back is healthy. Don't experience any back pain or any of that stuff, but I do feel like playing wearing a strap. I think I generally play a bit better when I play wearing a strap. It's one of those things. One of the reasons why I'm not doing it today is because this is not my guitar. This is Kim's guitar, who's kind enough to lend it to me for these sessions. But Paul Reed Smith give you these impossibly big strap buttons, and trying to get a strap on this guitar, well, it's not really worth the effort for the sake of sitting down and doing reviews and lessons and demos. But yeah, big fan of wearing straps while you're playing. If you've got a bad back, even better. Who else do we have in the house? Let's see. Mark Crandall is here. Mark, it's great to see you. Who else do we have? Just going to quickly blast through this. Foghorn is in the house. Been learning a lot of famous guitar solos this weekend and realized that the inaccuracies of some of the transcriptions that are out there, a lot of idiosyncrasies are hard to replicate. You may want to go, Mark Foghornish, to our sister company over at Lick Library. Now, if you go to licklibrary.com, you will find pretty much any guitar solo you're ever going to want to learn, taught by some of the absolute best tutors in the world. No inaccuracies, let me tell you, right? So yeah, just a little plug for our friends over at licklibrary.com. Incidentally, I'll also be streaming on the Lick Library YouTube channel this Wednesday. So 7 o'clock Wednesday, I'll see you there. Anyway, who else do we have? Rory Lisbon says, Gabba Gabba, hey. Rory, it's good to see you, man. Hopefully you're going to get kicked out of today's stream. I think this is going to be up your alley. Who else do we have? Larry Warren is in the house. Larry, it is great to see you. I missed Marcin's video last week. It was not on the replay. Larry, we posted a link in the comments, but you can go and follow Marcin on Instagram. Marcin, post your Instagram handle because we want to see it. Who else do we have? Oh, I'm going to scroll back here real quick because here's an interesting one. Something about David Yates. Here's an interesting one. Burt Whedon. Okay, here we go. Burt Whedon lived around the corner to me when I was a kid. I started with one of his books. That is really cool. It was my dad's book. My dad used to play guitar in rock and roll bands in the 50s, but he stopped and took it up again when I was 13. He had a lovely 1973 ES 345. The neck was incredible. That is very cool. He told me all about how good Bert was. Yeah, with a lot of love for Bert Whedon. Bert Whedon started all of this stuff that we're doing now, like the giving of guitar lessons on, you know, an en masse basis, as opposed to you go to a teacher, you sit down, you learn Froggy Camercorton or whatever. But yeah, man, that's really cool. Jimmy Page cites Bert Whedon. Yeah, absolutely, that is quite something. Very cool. I'm glad we went back and took a look at that. That is wicked. Paul Keller, Tyson Fury in the pick with hair. I don't think so. I'm not as tall as Tyson Fury, and I'm definitely not as good as boxing. But I'm maybe a touch better at the guitar. Who knows? I don't know. Hard to say. So never mind. Jason Carter is in the house. Everyone from Stuttgart, Germany. Hope you're doing well. Jason's a recent member of our returning cadre of streamers, and a very welcome addition. It's lovely to see you. Daryl Queen says, hey everybody, curious as to what the worst arpeggio is. Well, we're going to get to that, right? It's a very clickbaity title. I didn't want to be too clickbaity with this stuff, but it is the worst arpeggio. But anyway, let's just see who else we have in the house. Mike Seedorf is here. Good evening, good afternoon, Nick. Everybody else who is here enjoying this awesome channel. Thanks for coming, man. I appreciate that. That's a very nice compliment as well. We appreciate that. Cranky Tom is here from Germany. Interesting names flying around the chat. Danny Gill taught me Feels Like a Good Thing, my favorite Schenker solo. Danny's got some great learn to play lessons. And funnily enough, you know where to go and get them, because we mentioned it just a second ago. Go to Lick Library, go and see all of Danny's fabulous stuff. Danny's Stats Boogie lessons were great. I agree, 100% agree. Satan Godslayer is in the house. Good to see you. Who else do we have, real quick? Wanted to ask you a question from Mike Seedorf. Wanted to ask you if you ever tried the FU Tone Pro guitars. If you have, what's your opinion on them? I have not, but I would like to. So I'm going to put that on the list. Maybe we can get some of those in for review, because I would like to check them out. Very, very cool. Still chuckling at Angry Marmalade from last week. Yeah, a name for our friend Ingve Malmsteen. I love me some Malmsteen, but yeah, that is quite funny. We like that. Cow Cat is here. Just let Dr. Nick show the worst arpeggio is one that you're probably already playing. Sorry, nerd. Yeah, maybe it is. Who knows? Maybe it is. Maybe it is. Let's just quickly see if there's anybody else I haven't said hello to. Mustache Metal is in the house. Good to see you. Jim McDougall is here. Steve Ford is here. And my friend Tony McAnally and my friend Paul. Hey, there we go. Good to see you boys in. So anyway, listen, let's get into the meat of today's session. So today we are discussing why the worst arpeggio is actually the best arpeggio. Now, this sounds like a very YouTuber-y title, and it kind of is, but I want to sell you on the idea that one of the modes of the major scale gets an awfully bad rap, and to an extent it's deserved, but the arpeggio that we can derive from the one chord of said mode is actually really cool. So I have a question, right? Drop me in the comments. Which mode are we talking about? It's the mode that is the worst sounding of the bunch. I'm gonna play it, and I wanna see if any of you guys in the comments might pick this up. It's this guy. Not a pretty sound, I'm sure you can agree, right? It is, of course, the locrian mode. Everybody has chimed in before I even started playing. We just knew. Poor locrian. What did locrian ever do to deserve such harsh discrimination? Well, it is kind of an unpleasant sound on its own, but there is an arpeggio we can derive from the locrian mode, which is actually pretty cool and has a whole bunch of applications that I'm going to show you today. And specifically, I'm going to show you a cheat shape that you can use to only Gambala uses it. Gambale. I like Gambala better, says Cow Cat. That is a Gambala when he was a 1980s WWF wrestler. The Ugandan giant Gambala. Anyway, only one person in the chat will get that joke, and I know who it is. Anyway, so let me show you the arpeggio. Let's go to the close-up cam real quick. So the arpeggio in question is what we refer to as a minor 7 flat 5 arpeggio. And let me take you through the process of getting this. Right, so this is the sound of a minor 7 flat 5 chord, sometimes referred to as a half diminished chord, because it sounds kind of ugly like a diminished chord, like this. Ugly is maybe not the word. Some people think it's very pretty. I happen to think it's quite pretty as well, but it's definitely a tense sound. It doesn't sound very resolved. It doesn't sound like its next door neighbor, which which is this guy, which sounds beautiful. That's a major 7. But this is the minor 7 flat 5. Now, we would find this as chord number 7 in any given major scale. So if we took F major, we'd get a major 7 on 1, a minor 7 on 2, minor 7 on 3, major 7 on 4, dominant 7 on 5, minor 7 on 6, minor 7 flat 5 on note number 7, which is the note that we associate with the locrian. Now, in terms of what a minor 7 flat 5 is, let's go through this together. So if we take the idea of an E minor 7 flat 5, that's why I picked F major. If we play this E note, and grab your guitars, by the way, if you haven't done so already, grab your guitars, we're going to play this together. So we have this E note here, that's fret 7. If we play fret 10, also on the A string, so we have E, G. If we were to play a minor arpeggio, we would typically follow that up with a B note, which is this. So we could have 7, 10, and then 9 on the next string. That would be a minor arpeggio. That would be E minor. If we were to turn this into E minor 7, we'd include this note. That's a D note, right? That D note, in this case, is the minor 7th interval from E. So we have root, flat 3, 5, flat 7. That gives us a minor 7. Hopefully you've got that in your fingers. I'll give you a quick second. I'll remind you what the notes are. It's A7, A10, D9, G7. Gives us this sound. That's a minor 7. A minor 7 flat 5 is the same, but instead of playing this 5, which is fret number 9, that's note number 5, like a power chord, instead of playing this note here, we play it here instead. We've taken the 5 and moved it down by a semitone. That's what that means. We've taken a minor 7, we've flattened the 5, we've turned this into this. Quite a sinister sound, I'm sure you'll agree, but a lot of fun all the same. Secret God Slayer with the comment, and we're instantly Marty Friedman. For sure, right? For sure. Totally agree. We're immediately Marty Friedman. We're going to get to this, right? Because there are some really cool Friedman-esque applications for this arpeggio. And this is one of them. So, just to give this a little capstone, we're also going to play the E note on top. So what we get is we get E, G, B flat, D, E. Once again, fret numbers. A7, A10, D8 this time, D8, G7, G9. Now on its own, that is quite a sinister sound, and we're going to have a little mess with that as something that we can play as a sinister sound over our Led Zeppelin backing track. So let's do that together, right? I'm going to throw the backing track on very quickly. Oh, wait a minute. Can't find that window. That is my Mac rebelling against me. But let's throw the Led Zeppelin backing track on. Now, what you'll find with this, I'm going to go to a slightly less gained out sound for this. I'm going to go to one of the blue sounds we have dialed up here. Is, oh, here's an interesting question. Cowcat, some of those aren't minor 6. Well, we're going to get to that because minor 6 and minor 7 flat 5 are like 6 and 9, same thing viewed from different perspectives. But for the time being, let's just take a listen to this arpeggio on its own. It's probably going to sound a bit sour, but we can have some fun with it, right? Let me show you what it sounds like when we just play it as stands. It's a cool sound. Now this in itself is quite an interesting note. Because all of these notes, they all sound pretty alright. But this guy in the middle sounds very sinister. The reason it sounds very sinister is you've got a flat 5 in there. Let's very quickly change backing tracks. Let's change backing tracks and let's go to our 5/8 grunge backing track. Now this one is a 5/4 grunge backing track. This is really good fun for this sort of stuff because it's quite a sinister sounding track. So let me show you how this might fly. I'm gonna go back to my gain sound for this, my gain sound. Watch this. Already that fits great. Just the same arpeggio in a different place. Now that is very cool. That is very, very cool. We like that an awful lot, right? David Yates, very quickly, can I just say Tool's version of No Quarter is outstanding? Totally agree. Very, very cool. I mean, it's such a great song, but a really great cover, right? So anyway, that's our -7 flat 5 in its natural state. And it sounds cool, it sounds sinister. Opeth vibes, that flat 5 says mustache metal, totally agree. But now, here's the interesting thing. This particular shape that we've just played is fine if we play it where it is. But if we put it at a slightly different place relative to the root note of the chord that we're playing, we really get some interesting stuff. And we're going to start with an application that you might use in a blues. So for this, we're going to go to our B blues. This is our slow blues. So this is in the key of B. Now if our blues is in B, when we play over a 1 chord, we can expect it to be B dominant 7. And we'd normally associate B dominant 7 with B mixed Lydian, which is this. Which every time we try it, if we try and play it in a blues context, mixed Lydian sounds cool, but it always sounds more like the Doors than it does like authentically blues. So we get this. Which is a cool sound, but it's not really the blues sound we're looking for. However, it does map to this dominant 7 chord. There's our 1 chord. Here's a fun trick. Watch this. Remember that E -7 flat 5 arpeggio we played just a second ago? Watch this. If we slide it down by a semitone and play exactly the same thing. Same thing down a semitone. This is a way of thinking about this -7 flat 5 as it relates to a dominant 7 chord. Now this is interesting because it doesn't sound sinister anymore. It kind of sounds like it fits. It kind of sounds like a sophisticated jazz blues thing. I'm going to explain why in a second, but I'm going to play this with you, right? So very quickly, let's do this first. Just a quick reminder of what we're playing. We have 6 on the A string, 9 on the A string, 7 on the D string, 6 on the G string, 8 on the G string. Exactly the same as what we've just had, only 1 semitone lower. Let's fire up our blues backing track in the key of B, and let's see what we get. So, by the way, just want to point out, the picture-in-picture has failed us today. It's not behaving, so that's why you're staring at my midsection for most of this. Do apologize. But we're down in the studio. At least it's the picture-in-picture that's not working, and not the audio. So anyway, here's our blues. Watch this. I'm gonna do it again here. Hear how well that fits? It won't fit over this chord. We need to play it somewhere else over that chord. It fit over this one though. Doesn't fit over this. There it fits really, really well. So let me show you what's happening here, right? And then we're going to jam over this together. So the way I'm thinking about this is, if we take these same set of intervals, what we got going on here, let's just go back to the close-up cam. I know James has been good enough to zoom this out, but we'll go back to the close-up cam. If that's our B, we can safely assume that somebody else in our blues band is playing B, but probably the bass player. So on and so forth. So we don't really need to play that B. We can assume it's there. It can be an imaginary B. If we then play this note, relative to our B, that becomes a major third. This note, relative to our B, becomes a fifth, like a power chord. So we have root that we're not playing, third, fifth. This note becomes a flat seven. So what have we got? Root, third, fifth, flat seven. And this guy here, that becomes a ninth. It's a ninth degree relative to this. So what we've actually done, by imagining the root is here, and playing this minor 7 flat 5 arpeggio, from the third, we've actually got dominant ninth arpeggio, which sounds really freaking cool, right? Now let's blend that in with our minor pentatonic and all the other tools we tend to use in the blues, and we'll see how this works when we start to play it in a slightly less obtuse manner. Let's get back to our blues backing track, and then we'll give you guys a chance to play over it with me. And then we'll talk about how you might move it to other places. So watch this. Catch it? Got a bit tricksy there, and I'll show you that little shift in a second. Lots of fun. Now we've got a bit of fusion blues over there, so let me show you how we might work with this. What I'm going to get you guys to do is over the one chord, which is coming up, we're going to jam out with this arpeggio we just played. I'll give you a cue when it's about to happen. For the rest of the progression, we'll stick with B minor pentatonic or B major pentatonic, whatever feels comfortable. I'm going to give you a chance now. There's our minor 7 flat 5 arpeggio. This is the one chord. Quick reminder. Now for this next bit, back to the minor pentatonic. I'll let you have this space. Stay in minor pentatonic. We're going back to the one chord, so the arpeggio is going to work again. Here we go. Now I'm going to do a little trick where I shifted up a fret to get this sound. Let me show you that, because that's an awful lot of fun, right? Let's come out of there real quick. So, what we're doing here, we'll go to the main cam, we'll explain what's going on. So, what we're doing here is that minor 7 flat 5 really works beautifully over that one chord, and it sounds great, and there are other places we can play it that will work fantastically over the other chords too. I'll show you those in a moment. But Here's a fun trick. When we go from the 1 chord to our 5 chord, at the end of our progression, where we go like this, 4 chord, 1 chord, 5 chord, we can do a fun trick where we take this minor 7, let's go back to the close-up cam, where we take the minor 7 flat 5, which was this, and we shift it up a semitone. Now what's going on here is if we assume that this is the 5 chord, which is F sharp in this case, but we play the minor 7 flat 5 this time a tone down from our chord, let's see what we get relative to this F sharp. So that's a flat 7 interval relative to our F sharp. That's cool. This guy here is a semitone up from our F sharp, so it's a flat 9. So far, we have flat 7, flat 9. This guy here, that's the major third. Flat 7, flat 9, major third. This slightly disgusting sounding interval up here is the sharp 5. Flat 7, flat 9, major third, sharp 5. You don't need to keep that in your mind. All you need to know is when you're playing the 5 chord, play this minor 7 flat 5 arpeggio, a tone down from it. How are you going to remember why that is? Well, here's the fun thing, right? Over the very end of your 12 bar, it's exactly the same arpeggio up a semitone. Let me show you that one more time. Now that you know what you're looking for, watch for me when I do this. I'm going to make it very obvious. Check this out. I'm going to do it here, actually. See that little sleight of hand? It's coming again at the end. Here it comes. You ready? I'm going to do it again. But this time, I'm going to give you a chance to do it. So play it here, starting at fret number 8. Do that right about now. Now move it to semitone right about now. And then back to minor pentatonic. And I'll take it here. You're going to get a chance now, and I'll show you when it's coming. Your turn. So give me some minor pentatonic, and then I'll tell you when to do it. Okay? Here it comes on the normal position of the semitone, and then back out we go. That is a very cool application for this, but there's more. We can do more with this. We can have more fun with this. Now, what we can do with this is we can take the same idea, but then we can expand this out a bit further. We can do what Darryl Queen's been asking for weeks, I think, which is to get some 2-5 action. What does 2-5 mean? Well, 2-5 is where we play chord 2, chord 5, and then we go to chord 1. Sounds obvious, but it's the chord progression that is at the root of all things jazz, like this kind of business. or the minor equivalent, like thus. Only difference is, in a minor, we play a different chord as 2. In this case, minor 7 flat 5. Now here's a fun thing, right? What about if we were to play a minor 2-5-1 leading to B? What would we get? Well, let's figure it out, right? So if B is 1, then 2 would be C sharp. And 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, would be F sharp. We already know where to play that. So if we were to play a minor 7 flat 5 from our 2, a minor 7 flat 5, a tone down from our 5, and then resolve it from the 3rd of our root, we can apply this chord progression, which is quite cool. Now in a blues, that might look like this. That's a way of cheating a minor 2-5 with one chord, one arpeggio shape. Let me play it slowly for you. Loads of fun. Let's plug that into our blues. As far as where we do it, well, you do it any time that you're about to go to the 1 chord. So if you have a 5 chord, that's cool, but we can actually do it over the 4 chord going to a 1, and we'll do it like a cheat. So if I do it in the middle of our 4 chord, that sounds really cool, but you can actually do it anytime. You can do it anytime you want. And I'll show you another way of resolving that in a minute. That's going to take us to another chord. We'll show you how that's going to work. All right, here we go. Here it comes. I'm going to cheat it here. I'm going to go. You know how cool that sounds? Again here. Loads of fun. Tons and tons and tons of fun. And what have we done? We've used one arpeggio shape. We haven't learned loads of arpeggio, we just put them in a different place. Now, here's a little cheat code formula, a little cheat formula for you. If you play this minor 7 arpeggio shape, and you start it on the chord that you want to play it on, you get a minor 7 flat 5. Let's get an E minor 7 flat 5, like this. Duh. You play an E minor 7 flat 5 over an E, you get an E minor 7 flat 5. Genius, I know. Joking, right? But if you play it 2 frets below the note you're playing along, you get a dominant 7 altered. In this case, a 7 flat 9 sharp 5. What? It's this sound, basically. It's a very crunchy sound. It gives you this vibe, like super jazz. It sounds like this. So tense, we can't stay in it very long. So play it on the note, it becomes this chord, minor 7 flat 5. Play it 2 frets below, it becomes this chord. Which resolves beautifully away to a 1 chord. That's a 5, goes to a 1 really well. Here's another cheat. If you play it from the minor third, the major third rather, like this, it becomes a dominant 9, it becomes this chord. So far, we've had this chord, and this chord, and this chord, expressed thus. And this. And this. But there is another. What about this chord? This minor 6. Minor 6 is the chord of Dorian. So that's where we go to a Led Zeppelin jam. Here's a fun thing we can do with Dorian. Watch this. Take a minor 7 flat 5. Instead of playing it here, or playing it here, play it here. The way I like to think about this is put the minor third of the chord on the root. What do we get? We get this. E, in this case, C sharp, back to E. So E, G, B, C sharp. That, for Sacred Godslayer, is the Marty Friedman application of this. It's a minor 7 flat 5 masquerading as an E minor 6. So what's that? Well, we can use it over a Led Zeppelin backing. Let's try that real quick. Watch where this lives. Now I'll show you some of the shapes for this in a second, because I wanted to do it all with one shape, just to show you how easy it is to do this stuff. But watch this. Let's go into the Zeppelin track, which is Dorian. And let's throw some gain back on, because gain is fun. So we might go here. Doesn't that sound cool? A little melodic minor moment there, but we'll get to that. Let's take some other fingerings of it, like this. Play that all night. Loads of fun, but I'm not going to. So, what have we just done? We've just done Dorian, right? And that's magic. So far, we've conjured, like, no lie, we've done minor 7 flat 5. We've done, which conjures locrian, or it conjures the 2 chord and a minor 2/5. We've done 5 altered. We've done mixed Lydian or blues or whatever you want to call that. And we've also done Dorian. Let me give you one more for you guys that are fans of 2/5/1s. Watch this. If Dorian is here, in E Dorian in this case, what if we play a minor 2/5/1 in E? So that would give us F sharp minor, 7 flat 5, there's our 2. There's B, 7 altered, there's our 1, our 5 rather. My mistake, and then G minor 6. Let me say that all again. F sharp minor 7 flat 5, there's our 2. B7 altered, there's our 5. E minor 6, there is our 1. Well, let's figure that out. So for a 2, we just play it here. F sharp, we play it from the root. For the B, we play it here, a semitone down, from from that B. So in essence, playing it from fret 9, and then fret 12, and for Dorian, right here. So we might get this. Very jazz, but also very Dorian. Can you believe that we got all of those cool sounds out of what is objectively the worst arpeggio? Hey, I did tell you. So listen, we're going to leave that there. If you guys missed any of this stuff, by all means, catch this on the replay, right? Because I tried to go as comprehensively through this as we could. Obviously, we can't go over the whole history of the minor 7 flat 5 or any of these like other places that we can play it in one stream. I'm going to give you one more way that you can play it though. One more kind of like, I guess one more extension on this shape. Just something fun that we can play with. If you want to take this a bit further, you will have seen me doing this. We'll do it in E very quickly. Just a way of extending this shape out a bit further. If we already know this, E, G, B flat, D, and E, once again that's 7 and 10, 8 in the middle, 7 and 9, add this. Middle finger in between on 8, first finger on 6, fourth finger on 10. Think about this. It's a G minor arpeggio with E notes added in. I'll do it again. Loads of fun. Now, that's an extended shape. Last one to put the cat among the pigeons. Fill in the gaps with chromatics. Let's do this. With some chromatic gaps. Watch this. Ever wonder where jazz came from? Shebang. And I don't even play jazz very well, right? But there you go. So listen, guys, that has been our discussion on why the best arpeggio is the worst arpeggio. If you're going, I don't even know what any of this means, don't worry. We've got some courses for you. We're going to start with this one. This is Mastering Modes Part 1. This is going to give you a comprehensive, ironically, everything bar the locrian. We don't touch locrian in this one. But if you want to know about all the other modes, this is the place to go and find it out. This is a course that will take you from pentatonic playing like this to modal playing like that in 10 lessons. I think it's really great. Fantastic course, I think. I would say this, I put it together. I'm going to show you what it contains. Here's a little bit of a look at it. When we come back, we'll be answering your questions live on air. Modes. What are modes? How do I use them? When do I use them? Well, modes are one of the things that the pros use to add excitement and colour to their guitar parts, and there is no reason why you can't use them too. Now, for some reason, people, especially certain online guitar teachers, love to make modes seem complicated and scary, but I'm here to tell you they really, really aren't. And in fact, if you know the pentatonic scale, I can show you how to play modes with just 2 extra notes. In this course, I'll show you how to play killer sounding guitar solos using modes without any of the mystery. You'll learn how to play musical sounding solos all across the neck in any key, crucially without sounding like you're just running up and down scales. So, if you're ready to take this next step with me, click the link to find out more. So there you go, folks. That's a look at Mastering Modes Part 1. You can go there and get a very comprehensive introduction to the wonderful world of modes, right? I think it's a very valuable course. I think even if you know a bit about the modal stuff, I think yeah, I think you should probably take a look at it anyway, right? Because there's some perspective in there that might be really useful. So if you found yourself as the kind of guitar player who hits the mode switch, and you know, Guthrie Govan talks about this, but if you used to, let's go to the close-up cam real quick. If you're this guitar player where you're playing the blues and you're playing very tastefully, and then when it's time to play Dorian, you suddenly do this. But you don't really know how to make music with that. Well, Mastering Modes has got you covered as well. Just, I guess just bigging up my own courses there, but that's kind of, you know, I think that's okay. I think, anyway, listen, you want to know where to get that course, go to this URL down here, guitarinteractivemagazine.com/GI Plus. Remember, your GI Plus subscriptions are what help us to do the things that we're doing today. Craig says, you looked so much younger back there. Dude, it was like a year and a half ago. It wasn't that long ago. But I was definitely a haircut ago, let's say that much. I was a haircut. It was a haircut previous. Guthrie talked about it in the GI lesson years ago, says Marcy, and you're quite right. That's where I learned it, and here we are. Still giving you the modal goods. I don't know how many years later. Anyway, can we say GI Plus is the home of modes? I don't know. Anyway, maybe we can't say that. But some questions, we're going to get on that real quick. So if you've got any last minute questions, don't forget to drop them in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. But first of all, Daryl Queen, lovely comment, says, I love how this video is a demo of how to learn something small and apply it big. A 4-note arpeggio that can be used in very different tonalities depending upon your application. Really appreciate that, man. That's what we're going for here. And of course, then you can expand out from there, if that makes sense. You can learn more shapes and stuff, but once you know how it works, you know you got it. Question, says Cowcat. Is it true that a bent note on time is really off time to allow the tune note to be in? So blues phases are in fact played a little before the one. Now, you can, but you don't always have to. So this is a little bit like taking a grace note and landing it so the grace note lands on the beat, or so it starts on the beat. I guess probably the easiest way to do this would be for me to demonstrate with some drums. Do I have drums? So you don't have to do it that way. You can actually do it either way, and it works out just fine. Let's find some drums, and let's throw those on. Let's go with the slow jam, which is a little bit more chill. We're not going to go with the heavy rock drums just yet. So an example of that would be, if we go to the close-up cam real quick, if I was to play a note, let's go to a slightly gainier setting. And let's maybe get rid of the slap back for this, because that's going to be quite annoying. So what we can do is we can play where we play on the one, and then bend up to the pitch we're going for after we've played it. Or we can play, here we're bending up, so that we hit the pitch on the downbeat. I'll play those again. So we play, that's picking on the beat and then bending up. Here is bending up by picking slightly before, so the bent note lands on the one. You can do either. I generally find in my own music, I think I do more of the former, where I pick on the beat and then let the note rise to pitch slightly after. But, you know, I don't think I ever always do something. I think that's just the way I tend to do it, but there are going to be occasions when I do other stuff. I think that's it. But good question, man. Very good question. Live to Play Guitar says, Nick, how do you not get overwhelmed when writing your own music and arranging? Who says I don't? Yeah, you know, I know where you're coming from, though. So I think a way to do it is to, first of all, co-writers really help. Collaborators are a big deal for this sort of thing. So I have a co-writer that I work with in my own band in Saints of Arcadia. That's my buddy John. John is a great ideas man and also a very good editor. So he's good at like taking my I guess, my crazier ideas and telling me what's cool and what's not. And he's also very good at coming up with stuff. Just he generates ideas, and I'm quite good at taking that idea and then running with it. So I guess to that end, a fun thing to do is to take a single idea and just see how far you can stretch that idea out before you feel the need to change it. So that's a fun thing to do, I guess. Another way we approach it is I have another co-writer that I work with in Blitzkrieg. This is my bass player, Liam. Liam is a just prolific powerhouse. He writes so much stuff. And with Liam's stuff, I generally find my contributions are more tweaks than anything else. And he'll do the same with my stuff, where he'll take an idea and he'll look at it and he'll go, I don't feel like that section's working or that little bit's working. I'm just going to adjust that. I think moving the fewest parts in the process can really help, and not feeling compelled to throw all of your ideas into a single piece of music as well. It's kind of cool. And also, don't be afraid to go, no, I don't like that. We're moving on. I guess there's a whole stream to be had in that, I think. So it's a very good question, my man. I'm going to ponder that a little bit more. So some more questions real quick. Want to get onto this real quick. BJ says, which PRS model is that? Well, this PRS model is a P245. The 245 stands for the scale length. So in this case, it's a 24.5-inch scale. So slightly shorter than your Gibson scale length, but longer than, say, a Jaguar, which is a 24-inch scale. Means it's kind of loose, so I'm playing 10s, but it has this real loose feel where you can bend it for a million miles if you want to. Where did we get to there? Did we get 5 frets? 5 frets, I think. So very loose feeling guitar, but it sounds the absolute bee's knees. Right? You guys know I love PRS, right? You know I love PRS, but this is one of my favorite PRS. Like, I happen to really freaking love this guitar, and Kim is good enough to loan it to me. Daryl Queen says, okay, using it to create an alt chord, that's an aha moment for me. It was an aha moment for me as well. I won't lie to you, right? It was one of these kind of eye-opening things, and now I do it all the time. Literally all the time. So, yeah, there's that. Incidentally, we can do the same thing with, if we're creating altered chords, we can do the same thing with a tritone sub. That's another story for another day. So we can play tritone substitutions, basically get the same thing, which is really, actually, you know what, I'm saying that. Let me just show you very quickly on this note. So we'll show you how to use this in the sense of a tritone substitution. So let's do an easy one, right? Let's say we're playing E7 altered, going to A. Well, if it's E7 altered, we play it down a tone. Now that is also the same as what we get if we played it from the 3rd of B flat. So it actually becomes a tritone substitution all of its own. Is it from the 3rd of B flat? Is it from the 7th of E? Yes. It's both, it's neither. So that's a bit of fun, right? That's a lot of stuff. So listen, guys, we've run out of time. We always do this. We've run out of time again. I'm going to play a little bit more, but now that you guys know what you're looking for with this stuff, see if you can spot it as we run back through that Led Zeppelin backing track, because that Led Zeppelin backing track is a lot of fun. It's available on the Guitar Interactive YouTube channel. So yeah, if you're not subscribed to us, subscribe to us. We give you free backing tracks, and they're great. In the meantime, quick reminders. If you haven't done so already, give the stream a thumbs up, share it with your guitar playing friends. Consider going to guitarinteractivemagazine.com/GI Plus and going down there, getting yourself a GI Plus membership, because there's loads of great lessons in there and it helps us keep the lights on. It really legitimately does help. Also, again, thank you so much for your comments. Thanks for coming and hanging out. It's been a lot of fun. We'll see you guys next week. If you're interested, I'll also be streaming on Wednesday over on the Lick Library YouTube channel. You can go give those guys a subscribe too. And we'll be talking about finger independence. Something completely different. So you've been doing all those arpeggios. If your fingers don't quite work, come see me. 7 o'clock UK time. It's an hour earlier than the GI streams. It'll be 7 p.m. Lick Library channel. I'll see you then. In the meantime, thanks for having me. Keep your eyes peeled for these arpeggios. Quite enough of that nonsense. Guys, thank you so much for having me. My name's Nick Jennison for Guitar Interactive GI+. I'll see you guys next week. In the meantime, this is what you get as part of your GI+ membership. My name's Nick Jennison, and it's a pleasure to introduce to you GI+, the brand new lesson platform brought to you by Guitar Interactive. We've assembled a team of the best players and educators in the world to bring you exclusive lessons covering everything from metal to blues to fusion and everything in between. Want to level up your shred chops? Check out How to Play Fast by Andy James. Or how about sweep picking with Rick Graham? Or maybe country's more your bag? Well, how about a full-length exclusive country guitar course from Andy Wood? Interested in learning how to play over changes? Well, members get access to hours of exclusive lessons from Fusion Maestro Tom Quayle. Or maybe you want your playing to sound more soulful? Well, who better than Chris Buck to show you how it's done? Or perhaps you want to learn the secrets of the masters. Well, members get access to over 60 feature-length tech sessions where our tutors painstakingly decode the styles of players like David Gilmour, Eddie Van Halen, John Petrucci, Larry Carlton, Slash, Tosin Abasi, Paul Gilbert, and many more. You get all this along with exclusive live webinars, free backing tracks, competitions, and so much more. So what are you waiting for? Sign up for GI Plus today.